Ramsey from the beginning always struck me as a kind and thoughtful guy, and that's an impression I've heard echoed by a lot of his other teachers. He seems to really enjoy puzzling through difficult problems, and he's willing to take his time and persevere when a problem seems impossible even. So I remember often him giving him something to work on for a few days and finding that the next time I saw him he had a great solution that he had really taken the time to polish and make work well. When he took my programming class, that was a cohort of students that I would say are the most engaged and successful I had ever had to date at the time, and I have a lot of respect for the work that he did because his code was simple and organized and clear, really easy to follow. And his classmates appreciated that also. I went back and I read the comments that they made on all of the reviews, and they said things about him like he was very competent. If he didn't know how to do something, a lot of us didn't know how to do it. Or it was fun to work with Ramsey and he got the work done quickly. All good testaments to his abilities. And I think it's the infectious sense of fun that he had that made it most enjoyable to work with Ramsey. We teachers always love to meet a student who has a sense of wonder and a sense of possibility and appreciation of fun for learning, and Ramsey has that. With the interest he has in math and science, I'm looking forward to hearing from him in a few years about the great problems he's working on then.
Ruth Aronson, I want to tell you that you're an incredible powerhouse of a woman. You came into video class in the beginning and you were a little nervous, I think, because the equipment was a little bit intimidating to you. But in all honesty, as the year has progressed, I have seen a powerful, powerful directorial young woman emerge. And I want to say that I'm really proud of the work that you've done. I think that you're a solid leader, a solid director. And I think that you have a whole lot of vision and a whole lot of ideas that I've seen you execute well. You're also a great collaborator. You work really well with people. And the one piece of advice that I want to give you as you go into college, go into your adulthood, is to make sure that your voice gets heard. Don't ever hold it back. I want you to keep using that directorial voice and keep using that leadership to get things done, because you've got a really strong personality and I think the world needs to see it and hear it. Good luck, and I will talk to you soon.
Caleb Bassi, my friend, I don't think I've ever nagged anybody more than I nagged you to play Ultimate with me. And I'll be honest, at first it was because your athletic prowess would have really helped the team on the field, and I would have been excited to be your coach. But after knowing you for so many years, you are just the kind of person I would like to hang out with and be around and coach and play Ultimate with. You're kind, you're smart, the number of times you asked me just if I needed help with any of the IT stuff, your affinity for technology and frankly computer games, we share that passion. The number of times I just wanted to sit down with you in the computer lab and say, oh, sweet, what are you playing? Let me join you. That would have been truly my pleasure. One of my fondest memories will be playing 2-on-2 basketball against you at Grant Street Park and realizing that the kid that I could have probably been arrogantly thought I could have taken when he was a freshman would destroy me now. I mean, it's just fun to watch your friends grow and succeed, and I really expect you to do well in life at college and afterward. Keep doing what you're passionate about, buddy, and I will look forward to the days when you come back and say, hey, Mr. Perkins, got any IT work I can do? I just really appreciated it, my friend. So thank you.
Becky, you have been a great presence at Kirby these 6 years. I remember meeting you in 7th grade through music appreciation and chorus. Your passion about music has been evident throughout your time at Kirby. Whether it's singing in choir, or playing guitar, or just having an opinion that's well informed about a wide variety of music. I remember walking through the foyer once where you were in conversation with some other students, and you asked me, who was that composer who stabbed himself in the foot? The answer, of course, being Jean-Baptiste Lully. I think you may be one of the few students who actually remembered something from that 7th grade music appreciation class well into their high school years. I love how you've always been passionate about what you do, even though it's often behind the scenes. You've done technical theater as a part of many Kirby shows, working on lights and other ways to make these shows happen. I'm excited to see you explore design and technical theater as you move on to UCSC. I will miss you at Kirby, but I'm excited about the things to come for you.
All right, I met Colton when he was in 8th grade, and I loved teaching him as a middle schooler because he paid attention, he commented, and he always asked really good questions. He was just a super cool kid back then, and he's actually still quite cool and very sweet. He still says hi to me in the hallways, he gives me high fives. He tells me he misses my class, and I miss him a lot too. I wish that I could have taught him in high school. And Colton is a hugger also, in a good way. Last week after the all-school meeting, he came up to me and he hugged me and he said, "Miss Hose, I'm sorry, I forgot to wish you a happy birthday." He said, "I know it just passed and I spaced out." And this was May 13th and my birthday's in October, but it was still such a nice gesture, and just Colton in a nutshell, because he didn't want to forget my birthday, which happened 5 months ago. So thank you, Colton. You are delightful.
Geneva Burkhart, you are the most balanced high school student I have ever met. You are athletic, you are intelligent, you are creative, and you know how to learn from your mistakes and your failures, which most adults, frankly, haven't quite figured out yet. So I just want to say that you should take those skills and those attributes on and carry them with you into later life, because I think you've got a one-up on most of the human population right now, and I think you're gonna excel. I've been really, really impressed with how authentic you are and how you do everything from a core place. I think that you're gonna do great in life because you know how to tune into who you are and what you want, and you go for it. You are a super hard worker, and you just keep going and you keep pushing and you keep producing. So keep all those things under your belt, and my only piece of advice is to make sure to give me a shout out when you win your first Oscar. I will see you soon, and good luck in college.
Milena Carruthers is quiet and brilliant and humble and intellectually ambitious without being competitive. She demonstrates the relationship to knowledge and learning that educators pray for and find at her level far too rarely. As teachers, we try to set out ladders, and we hope that our students will climb them. Not only does Milena set herself diligently to the task, but she unpretentiously asks for extra rungs when she reaches the top. Moreover, if I put up a rotten step, she has the confidence and clarity of our purpose and roles here to let me know. Teachers generally hate being corrected by students, having their mistakes pointed out to them, but Milena is so humble and guileless when she's quietly correcting me that I'm nothing but appreciative. She's the rare student who's able to be honest with a teacher without giving the slightest impression of another agenda, of pride or gotcha. She makes me a better teacher. I'm envious of the college professors who are going to get to share future classrooms with Milena. I look forward to hearing about the contributions to human knowledge that she's inevitably going to make in years to come. Milena speaks softly but carries a big mind and a good heart, and I'm going to miss her.
I first met Tati the spring of her sophomore year when I took over the 10th grade world history class, and I remember her sitting on the couch with her friends and being somewhat of a shy and reserved student, but an excellent student. A student who also had a fantastic sense of humor once you could kind of get to know her a little bit. And it's that sense of humor that I've always appreciated about Tati. We've had a lot of fun together in class. We've had a lot of challenges as well, but I've always appreciated your honesty, and I've always appreciated your skill and your work ethic as well. You've always produced some really fantastic work. So thanks for everything. Thanks for being you. Thanks for being Canadian, most importantly. We've had a lot of fun with that. And I wish you the best of luck as you move on to pursue your dreams. Fantastic. Thanks. Take care.
James Deutsch is not a nice guy. I made that mistaken judgment when I first met him, but nice guys are boring and passive and weak, and James is none of those things. Now, he's usually very calm, but in performance, or I remember from a report he gave on Supernova in my class, he can get so excited about the world we live in. If I were to smack James across the face, metaphorically of course, I am confident that he would turn the other cheek, not because he's a passive victim, but because that's what you do when you present your ear. And James would want to listen and figure out whether what I'd done was just. And when he fairly determined that it wasn't, I am confident he would, obviously still figuratively, give me the smack back that I deserved. Kirby students defy simple categorization, but there are still roles that we identify with particular students here. So to name a few, Caleb is the athlete, Makai and Aviva are the performers, Margaret is human sunshine, but James has lettered in kindness. Perhaps the central ethos of Kirby is kindness, and I wish for us more students who could embody the soul of this place half as well as James has. James wrote me an incredibly thoughtful thank you note my first year here at Kirby, and I just want to echo back the first line to him. Thank you for coming to Kirby. And good luck out there, James. Nice guys need it, but you, the kind person you are, you deserve it.
I think of Megan as a thoughtful and articulate and caring person. I remember her from geometry class, in which she played the role of the mature and responsible high schooler among a bunch of excitable and volatile 8th graders. And believe me, she showed a lot of patience and dignity and kindness for the others in that class. She was one to discuss topics in depth. She enjoyed taking time to digest new ideas and proceed confidently once she understood how everything worked. And she's a great writer too. I always look forward to reading her journal entries at the end of every week in math class. And I know since then she's gone on to get writing published in Interrobang and more recently the Santa Cruz County Poetry Competition Anthology, which Dr. Keb tells me is a really respectable thing to get a piece of work published in. Mostly, I appreciate Megan for standing out as respectful and good-humored and kind to everybody that she meets in the hallway. She's the kind of person that really gives Kirby the feel that it has, the really warm, accepting student community. And I hope and trust that she's going to bring that kindness and love to all of her work in the future.
Emma Gelman is one of the loveliest Kirby students. She has a really wry sense of humor and is one of the friendliest people I see in the halls. One of her signature mannerisms that I really love is the ironic remark followed by a little shared laugh, where you both get to laugh at her smart commentary. She has a really finely honed sense of the absurd that will serve her well when she's away from Kirby, where she's bound to encounter plenty of foolishness in between moments of awe and inspiration. Emma has consistently earned and held the respect of faculty who know her as a scrupulous scholar, a sharp thinker, and a great writer. That's great. One specific thing I remember about Emma is a conversation we had about a short story by Nadine Gordimer in English 10, where Emma noticed that the protagonist, who's kind of this marginalized figure on the edges of her culture, is a lot like Holden Caulfield in Catcher in the Rye because they both prefer the company of children to adults. I was so impressed by this comment that I, of course, told Mr. Perot right away that people were referring to Catcher in the Rye in English 10. But I also emailed her parents and said, wow, she's practically like a little college-level English major. And they responded in surprise, and I was really struck by this. They both said, wow, that's really interesting because Emma doesn't think she's really that great at English of all of her subjects. She thinks of herself more of a math and science person. And that's the kind of student Emma is. She is good at even the things she thinks she's not the best at, which is that impressive. She's modest, she's talented, and she's so smart she can tackle the work in almost any discipline. The other day, I was in the art room and Emma was finishing a portrait of her dog Bella, a dog I happen to know really well because we live in the same neighborhood. And the portrait used dark purple and this sort of golden yellow color shaded in such a way that she had made the effect of the light and the dark and the shadow and the light in this portrait of her dog. And I was so impressed that she achieved this using these unusual colors. With some students, you just have to wonder, how can she be good at so many things? I wish Emma the best of luck at Wellesley College, where I have no doubt she will have some great accomplishments. And all of us at Kirby are proud of her and look forward to her visits and news of her accomplishments.
Mackay, I was so excited when I heard that you were coming to Kirby for high school 4 years ago. I knew you through previous musical productions we were involved in, and was impressed with your talent and your passion for the arts. You've been a strong presence in the choirs, orchestra, and musical theater productions. I especially appreciated your production and presentation as Gomez in The Addams Family, and I was thrilled for all the times you won awards for your solos in choir. I've enjoyed watching the ways you've grown up these 4 years, through the fun and the difficult times. I've appreciated our many discussions about music and musical theater, and how entire class periods would sometimes disappear during these conversations. I look forward to seeing you grow into your talent as you move on from high school, even more than you've grown these past 4 years. As you reach your potential, which is sky high, stay humble and appreciate all the opportunities you've had along the way. It has been a joy teaching you, and I look forward to seeing how far you go in life.
I think everyone knows that Jasmine Holland is a loyal, compassionate friend and a humble leader. What they may not know is that Jasmine has incredible insight and an eloquent voice that she hasn't yet fully embraced. We see glimpses of it through her art and her writing, and it's left us wanting more. As you move gracefully through this world, Jasmine, my wish for you is that you share your voice and demand the respect that you deserve. Allow your perfectionistic tendencies to become a strength rather than a restraint. You've shown through your engagement with JSA and your student council leadership that you will not be a passive citizen, and I've truly enjoyed watching your growth in these roles. I can't wait to see what more you'll have to offer as you embrace your talents and share your perspective.
It is my pleasure to say a few words about Ian Johnson. Ian exudes a sense of peace and contentment, and he has a positive and calming effect on those around him. Ian has a thoughtful and calculated approach to life. He carefully assesses his priorities so that he can maintain a healthy balance. By not overcommitting himself, he is able to put energy into the things that matter most. He seems to truly enjoy what he does, and I have never heard him complain about anything. Ian is passionate about our unique coastal environment and has worked to make our beaches a better place for everyone. He's a strong student with the skills and ability to do well in a range of subjects. His English teachers have a great impression of him, describing his writing as terse and well organized. His math teachers are impressed with his motivation to take on challenges, as is evident in his completion of 3 AP math classes this year. Ian has been a wonderful young man to work with. He knows what is important in life and is wise beyond his years.
Okay, Ian Jones, this is for you. I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for helping me this year and last year in video. I remember the first time I met you was at a school play, and I randomly picked you out of a crowd to videotape the play, and it just so happened that that was your expertise. And honestly, since then, you have been nothing but the biggest help in terms of running my video classes, helping me figure out what equipment to get, and even doing some professional gigs. So I just want to say that you're amazing and that you're going to go far, very, very, very far in life in the video industry if that's what you choose. And the one piece of advice I want to give you is that you don't have to always go, go, go. Make sure to take care of yourself. So if it ever feels like too much, stop, take a deep breath, and just be. Because all of the hustle will always be there on the other end waiting for you. So good luck, Ian. I think you're great. Stay in touch.
Sophie Kahn has long suffered from being talented in too many areas. She's gifted mathematically, artistically, linguistically, and politically. If I ever have a complex issue with interpersonal relations, I know I can take it to her for an eye-opening insight. Sophie is a capable, inspiring leader, but also a skillful peacemaker. She understands the balance between ambition and compassion. It's rare to find someone who has both a keen intellect and a tremendous spirit of generosity, but that is Sophie Kahn. She'll give you the shirt off her back if you ask her, and she'll never ask for anything in return. It is her tremendous capacity for kindness that I will miss the most. I don't doubt that she will have a hand in shaping our political future for the better.
Aviva, you've been a shining star at this school. You've poured so much of yourself into the school through the arts and your academics. I consider it a privilege to have worked with you through the choirs, orchestra, and theater productions. There are too many memories to count. You've done stellar roles in shows such as Beth and Little Women and Wednesday and the Addams Family. You've sung in choirs for 5 years and played in the orchestra and been a strong leader in those ensembles as you've grown up. You've also been one of the most thoughtful students I've had. I remember you making me a Skittles and Twizzler cake for my birthday one year during music theory. And I also remember the time you made me cry this year, sending a video of the chamber choir singing Run to Drew instead of Run to You while I was out of town. Thanks for being a part of the Kirby community. And I'm excited for your future as you move on to NYU to study theater. Take the world by storm and continue to make us proud as you've done so many times throughout your stay at Kirby.
Hi, Alice. You are a truly rare and wonderful young person. And because of that, you are far more than your list of remarkable student achievements. A top scholar earning salutatorian status, a fine writer with important leadership on our school paper, a fluent speaker of several foreign languages, amazing, who is still content to attend class with middle school students to take Latin 1 in her senior year, a leader on our mountain bike team, and a leader for environmental causes. Your ongoing service to Kirby, including most recent your taking on our used textbook problem, has been amazing. As you know, when I thought of a student who would best represent our school to our outside accreditation team by serving on our steering committee for accreditation, we invited you to be that student. So what is more than all of these achievements? It is your beautiful maturity beyond your years, an inner wisdom that responds to what matters most in life instead of all the superficiality that dominates our days, focused energy for making a difference in the world, balanced by patience that is truly unusual for a teenager. You have a rare capacity for empathy that make you a warm, kind, and understanding friend. You'll be missed, and I wish you all the best.
Okay, when David Kuttner was in 6th grade, I thought he looked like a miniature Tim Lincecum, the Giants pitcher, and I would tell him that quite frequently, and I don't know if he bought it, but he was kind of a spitting image, and that was really entertaining to me. And now he's taller, and he doesn't really look like Timmy that much anymore, but I knew that that meant that he and I were sort of destined. He was destined to be have a special place in my heart, and that is true. I've watched David grow up vertically and also as a student and a athlete. He plays ultimate and soccer and basketball for Kirby, and his determination and his dedication are really apparent. It's been super fun to watch him do that, and at one point he was playing on both the soccer and the basketball teams, which are the same season, so that took a whole lot of effort and sacrifice on his part to be there for both of those teams. And it has been my joy to watch David grow up and be able to talk to him and interact with him in the hallways after I wasn't teaching him anymore. So I think David's awesome.
Willow is an exceptional person that I'm really glad to have worked with. She has a combination of well-roundedness and civic responsibility and fierce individuality that make her unlike any other student that I've met. She's organized community service events. She's kept up well with academics all the way through. She's excelled in her music studies, and she's really gone into depth in the discussions that her classes have had. I know this isn't only in my class, that she's taken pretty abstract, complicated ideas and really internalized them and related them to what she's doing in her other classes. She's observant, insightful, articulate. She's modest and soft-spoken. There are awards she's gotten that I've heard about secondhand from other people that she would never have talked about herself. And after years of reading student writing in math journal entries and programming, I found that her writing really had a unique voice, and it had a charm that made her writing read more like a conversation than like an assignment. I can't think of anybody else that would compare the interplay of programming components to a Chuck Close painting, for example, or speak of bringing forth the severed snake heads of the N Queen's problem when she finished writing a program to solve it. It has been an absolute delight to see her meet the challenges of high school with dignity and find joy in it all.
So, Michael Lucas, my friend, this is a message for you. You have been my friend for about 4 years when you first came on as a freshman. And even though it was probably an awkward freshman, very old guy relationship, since then you've become a regular part of my daily life here at Kirby, and a dear friend, someone who I look forward to talking to sharing my experiences with. We have a shared love of math, of science, of computer gaming. There are things that you're going to go on in your life and investigate in college and beyond that I am envious of, my friend, because I just share those same passions. And what impressed me with you the most when I was your teacher was you always pushed me. You always went beyond what we were doing in class and saying, how does this work? And my usual answer was, I don't know, but let me go back and let me talk to the calc teacher and let me figure out this. And then I'd come back and we'd explore it and discover some really amazingly, frustratingly hard to understand things together. It was my pleasure to be both your boss as an intern, your teacher in math class, and your peer and friend in the IT world. I wish you luck at college and beyond. I hope you'll always stay in touch, and you are my friend for life. If I could give you one piece of advice, buddy, it would be, as much as you can and as much as you will find it enjoyable, stay out of the computer lab, get outside, enjoy nature, enjoy the outside world, because you are going to have a good life in front of the computer. You're going to be doing wonderful things, and you'll spend enough time there. You'll get a lot of pleasure out of it. So thank you for being my friend.
I first met Brian Molinaro on his shadow day when he joined us in 9th grade. And I knew Brian was going to do just great at Kirby. And I knew this because the day that he arrived and shadowed, I think he shadowed Reed, was the day that we were prepping the Bad Emperors debates in History 9. And he came into a group planning arguments about incest and rape and horses being senators and hunchbacks covered with mustard and all of those wonderful Bad Emperors things. And he was completely unfazed by all of this weirdness. In fact, he was eating it up. So I knew he was going to fit in with our quirky sensibilities. And since then, he's gone on to be probably the best sports booster at Kirby. He's got incredible school spirit, which makes it so appropriate that he was one of the models for the Kirby Griffin mascot and our first official Kirby Griffin.
Isabel Moss has been such a good student at Kirby. One former teacher wrote of Isabel that she was taciturn but businesslike about geometry class, and that she had great logical and visual intuition. Her approach to her work was typically practical and efficient, the results ranging from basic and clear to accurate and excellently well explained. Another teacher describes her as a good writer, and I completely agree. One thing I remember specifically about Isabel was how she was clearly intelligent but somewhat reserved in English 10 class discussions, and then toward the end of the year she wrote the most sophisticated, well-written comparative analytical essay on the Vietnam literary texts of anybody in her class. It was a really impressive way to end the year. In AP Literature, Isabel has been a sharp interpreter of texts in U.S. literature, and she deftly makes connections across texts and historical periods. This year, she has often been a leader in our discussions of American lit and culture. On top of her other talents, Isabel plays stand-up bass, which is a very impressive accomplishment. She has earned the respect of faculty for her capacity for honesty, her ability to be accountable for her own actions, and to be introspective and honest about her motivations. She has a sharp mind and is cool-headed, traits that will serve her well in college. Isabel Moss has a quirky sense of humor and is clearly loyal and fun-loving with her friends. Not very many people would let even a close friend, sit on their laps at the beginning of English class day after day. Believe me, this went on for weeks. But Isabel did, enduring it with all of the tolerance and good humor while playing straight man to her zanier friend. If I had one piece of advice for Isabel, it would be this. If you feel overwhelmed, stop for a moment, take in the surroundings, take stock of your inventory of virtues and talents, and then march onward. Always keep moving. Do a manageable, reasonable amount of work every day, and you won't get lost. And don't forget eating, exercising, and socializing. You really have to put them in your calendar or they won't get done. Above all, don't forget where you came from. Come back and visit us at Kirby. We want to know how you're doing.
Kyle Peterson, my friend and fellow fantasy football aficionado. I remember when I first met you in Algebra 1 in 7th grade, and you were telling me how it was either your parents or some people were concerned that you were taking on too much of a challenge to go into Algebra 1 in 7th grade. And I remember you were insistent that you were up to the challenge and really wanted it. And back then, for such a young man, it was such a mature response, and you worked your butt off. And that's what I've kind of seen from you, your high school career. I've seen that maturity blossom into friendships with students older than you. I've seen it in interactions. Your kindness. I don't think I've seen you have an ill will toward anybody, or it's why I nagged you to play Ultimate all those years. But frankly, I was so excited to see your passion for mountain biking, and was just happy every time you succeeded. And when you got up in front of everybody in the all-school meetings, and your buddies would chant your name and applaud and stomp their feet, and it really showed a lot of caring. It showed how special you are to those of us, even if you didn't realize how much we cared about you and how great we thought you are. I will hopefully be playing fantasy football with you for a long while to come, and hear stories of your bike rides and adventures when you head off into the real world, my friend. If I have any advice, I'd say keep doing what you're passionate about. Whatever it is that's gotten you this far, whatever recipe you use to, make everybody like you so much, keep it up. You will be very successful in life, and more importantly, you'll be happy and satisfied. And so that's my advice, is just keep doing what you're doing. Never change, buddy. And I hope to see you when you come back soon and full of good stories. I got some to share with you, but probably not right now.
I remember Emma Pinsky when she was a tiny little 7th grader. And I remember her from, many, many classes that I've taught. And I think what I have enjoyed most about Emma in all of these circumstances, even when she was a 7th grader, is how unbelievably accomplished and poised and mature she was. I've seen her in some very stressful situations, and she's just remarkably poised. She's also got a wonderful sense of humor. And I remember in 9th grade, she made a fabulous Margaret of Anjou, the she-wolf. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. I don't mean you're a wolf, Emma. I don't mean you're a wolf, but you're kind of a wolf in a nice way.
Okay, Margaret. I believe that if it were possible to harness Margaret's energy and use it to power things, she could outdo solar and wind sources and light up entire cities. I really believe that. The way that she can summon excitement, enthusiasm, and school spirit is absolutely amazing. I've never seen her without a smile on her face. She's nice to middle schoolers. They love her. Obviously, all of her peers that are her age love her as well. She says hi every time she sees me, and you just can't help but have your spirits lifted when Margaret's around. She's totally unique. I've loved watching her play basketball. She's got so much tenacity and skill and sportsmanship too, as we all know. I've always said that she's going to knock you right on your behind, but then she'll quickly help you up and make sure you're okay. That's just Margaret. She is an example of positivity that I think everyone can learn from without exception. When she's not here next year, I think we're really going to feel it, and it's going to be like there's an absence that can't quite be filled. So I really hope Margaret comes back and sees us as much as she can.
Sophia Rose holds a special place in my heart because not only is she just a lovely person with a gentle and Wonderful temperament. Not only is she a gifted artist, but, and I say this on behalf of all of her Kirby teachers, she is an exceptionally accomplished academic writer. And I have had many, many students who are very good writers, but I would say that I look forward to an essay from Sophia Rose with a special joy and anticipation, because I know I'm actually going to learn something, and I'm going to have very little to say in the way of criticism, because it is going to be exceptional.
Ruby, I am so proud of all that you have accomplished while you were here at Kirby. You have so much talent, from jazz choir, chamber choir, dance, art, video, and acting in both plays and musicals. You took on every role with gusto. You performed and executed all of these roles with strength, grace, and a positive attitude. You also balanced all of these talents with the rest of your academics, taking 3 APs this year in English Lit, Statistics, and French. I love your unique style, and I can see that you are totally comfortable with being you. I know you'll go out into the world and take this strength and show the world how truly amazing you are. I'm so glad I was part of your world, and I thank you for all that you have shared with me and the rest of us at Kirby. Love and success to you always.
So I get to talk about Avi. Avi, aside from being a really wonderful person who's liked by everybody in your midst, you're basically a flipping creative genius. And the flipping applies to more than just your artistic talents. You actually can flip around in dance performances in acrobatic ways. So that was a new talent I learned about you just recently. Anyhow, every single person I've talked to has something to say about your creative talents. And your Curious Incident project still sets the mark for the most rocking English 9 Curious Incident project. So I guess it's the way you see the world and how you convey your thoughts through images and layers and color and tone. You have this artistic sensibility that is just way beyond your years, and it's clear that you've taken some time to develop this gift. So here's my hope for you in moving forward to the next stage of your life. My hope is that you keep developing that gift, that you honor it in whatever ways make sense to you, that you refine it both by taking risks and sticking with the things that really matter most to you. Somebody once said, "Don't let school get in the way of your education." And while that may not be a practical maxim in today's world, I do think you may very well have some atypical routes to finding your place in this world, and I know that everyone in our community is rooting for you along the way. To be the best you can be, to follow your own vision. I know as far back as English 9, which feels like many, many years ago, you sometimes had the most insightful comments, but as you talked your way around your ideas and thoughts, you would sometimes circle back or undercut your own thinking and derail your own insights. Don't do that, because you do say some pretty powerful and see some pretty powerful things, and they often don't deserve the sometimes self-criticism that you bring about. Rather focus on perseverance in bringing them to an organized and cohesive state. And that's my point here. Don't derail your genius. Follow it, work with it, accept it, sustain it. It's a gift and sort of a responsibility. The universe has given you something very special. Not everyone can see things the way you do, much less represent them in artistic terms in such compelling ways. So don't derail or sabotage your genius. Flow with it and allow that creativity to flourish out of you unapologetically. It sounds like a cliche, but you really do bring something unique to this world, and the world is a better place for having you here. and I wish you all the best in whatever path you take.
Mary, I was so happy that I was given the opportunity to be the one to share my thoughts of you with you at this transitional time in your life. Mostly, I want to really thank you both for who you are and for all that you've given to our sweet school over the years. Who you are and your generosity to Kirby go beyond your absolutely terrific all-around student status with an academic record at the very top tier of your very talented class. It is beyond your own talent and dedication to our music program, notably on both the instrumental and choral sides. I see you as holding down the center of our community with energetic and giving tranquility. You opt for personal depth rather than for superficial showiness. How do I know this? It was you who stepped up to be our student librarian. It was you who was the student to take seriously my invitation to join our teachers to offer a Learning for Its Own Sake class for our interterm. And I still have a vivid picture of you surrounded by happy middle school students learning sewing at your side. You understand that these and other times of spontaneous generosity form much of what makes life meaningful. I think of you when I read bumper stickers that say, "Practice acts of gratuitous kindness." It is my sincere hope that your future will unfold beautifully for you, and I hope you'll come back often and visit us.
Piper, you've been sitting at my desk in study hall since you were in 9th grade. Whether I was there or not, you would tell me stories, you make me laugh. You leave me notes and sign them with that picture that you make, which looks something like this, but not quite, because you have much more artistic talent than that. Your thoughtfulness is always impressive. And I also very much appreciated your willingness to show me random Photoshop techniques during the end of the year craze for finishing your book. It meant a lot that you would take time out of your day for that for me. That shows your generosity of spirit. And that generosity, that's what's going to take you far in this world. I am super excited to see who you be. So go rock it. Mad love.
Hi, Reed. I'm so happy to be talking about you, not only because you're so pretty darn remarkable, but you've given so much to Kirby over the years. Yes, you've been an excellent student, earning salutatorian status in your class. The range of classes in which you have excelled is truly impressive, and you have shined in our music program. You have years of dedicated service on our student council. But apart from the realm of your middle and high school achievements, what truly distinguishes you in my mind is that you have already mastered one of the secrets of life. You know that the gift of life and your future path in the world are matters to be taken on with seriousness and conviction. But you also know that being playful is a great ingredient of happiness, both for yourself and for everybody around you. Here, I insert many memories of wonderfully outrageous Spirit Day costuming and of your twinkling eyes and of your laughter. I will miss you around the building and in the Bridge Club, and I wish you all the very, very best.
Something I really like about Rowan is how his music taste tends towards the experimental. A lot of music these days is very standardized with auto-tuning and really, corrected beats and so on. But Rowan's music that he showed me is really adventurous and exploring new sounds that are really only possible with very current technology. So I find that very exciting. And Rowan has a kind of cool, calm exterior. So sometimes it's kind of hard to tell what he's thinking or when or if he's enthusiastic. But I started to learn that you can see like kind of slight twitch in his eyebrows when he mentions certain ideas that he finds exciting, especially about some musical techniques that he thinks are interesting. And so that was exciting to learn that and see that there is so much going on there below the surface. I always look forward to seeing his enthusiasm come out and seeing the products of his adventurous mind.
I'm talking about Berenice, and she just absolutely exemplifies community. And I think that if I were to want somebody to represent me in this community, I would pick Berenice, or somebody like Berenice. She has a growth mindset. She's incredibly passionate about everything that she does. And you can see when you talk to her that she's constantly thinking about the benefit to others over herself. And when she asks questions, or when she's talking about what she's going to do over the weekend, when she's talking about how she's going to use her summer, what she's going to do with her life after college, there's so much passion that's exuded there. And there's so much community in everything that she does and everything that she says. And I'm not sure what she's going to choose to do with her life, but I know she'll be successful. And more importantly, that she will give a lot of herself to make the people and the community around her a better place.
Yo, Tom. I love your t-shirts. They're fantastic. And over the past 4 years, I have watched you really bring forth those playful parts of yourself with impeccable timing and with more and more confidence. And I think that fantastic timing is really important because there's a lot of power in silently watching and waiting for the right time. I think that's going to serve you in your life in so many ways. I think that is the root of an awareness that's going to allow you to get to the truth of who you are, even when that truth changes. So go for it. My love.
What do I know about Jillian? Well, I'm pretty sure she's been here as far back as 7th grade, which puts her in the sort of Kirby elite. But when I first got to know her really in 9th grade, I thought she was kind of shy. I appreciated that she pretty much stayed out of the strange dynamics of 9th graders vying for social or academic predominance, and that she took her work, and especially her writing, seriously. Jillian evinces this kind of fly-under-the-radar persona, but it's my sense that she is very much the watcher, the observer, and I think her peers, along with her teachers, very much respect her low-key but authentic way of being in the world. Jillian's not afraid to be the contrarian, but she's not the contrarian just for the sake of being the contrarian. She speaks and writes and dances her truth. And I've really come to admire that about her, especially in the midst of the sometimes strange world of academic achievement. She has this wry sense of humor that I imagine makes her fun to hang out with, and that I believe is evolving into a sophistication in her voice as a writer. I like that she's not particularly motivated by what others want for her, but sets her own goals and is pretty darn committed to finishing what she sets out to do. And for her, that doesn't seem to be a cop-out in terms of having goals and following through, as a section editor, for instance, in the school newspaper. In talking to Damara, she reflected that Jillian has a remarkable blend of serenity and fierceness, and a capacity to integrate different ways of moving and thinking, a sort of grounded wholeness that is drawn from a diversity of perspectives. She also expressed that Jillian has deep tenderness
that she will reach out and comfort people in pretty amazing ways. Quiet, steady awareness, structured in her approaches, detail-oriented, doesn't cut corners with ideas. All of this bodes well for her moving powerfully into the next stage of her life, and I absolutely wish her the best and trust that she grows more and more into her true voice, her most authentic expression, which is already being experienced by both her teachers and her peers in the deepest of ways. Good luck, Jillian.
Not only is Connell Wilson a phenomenal athlete, a longtime gymnast, and a soccer player who also performed with the Kirby Dance Company, he also cares about ideas. More than one teacher has identified Connell as a remarkably intellectually curious person. And this characteristic showed up in his academics at Kirby. During junior year, Connell surprised himself by getting really interested in creative writing. A course he took probably, just because, but which ended up leading to a really serious interest. He would write multiple versions of creative writing assignments from different perspectives and ask for feedback on both. His enthusiasm for creative writing was such that he wanted to revise right away. He actually wanted the peer feedback he got during writing workshops. A former math teacher remembers Connell as a really curious, open-minded, thoughtful guy who really enjoyed challenging puzzles. Perhaps it was the same fearlessness about intellectual inquiry that led to his interest in philosophy, and in the philosophy course he has been a mainstay in class discussions. My impression of Connell as a person, which is shared by other faculty, is that Connell is his own man. He isn't deterred from the thought of doing something by what other people are doing or what other people might think of it. He's really driven by his own interests and his own internal strong sense of ethics. Connell is self-assured and from the teacher perspective pretty unflappable, not given to succumbing to the drama of other people or the atmosphere around him. He's also generally positive and cheerful. Another teacher noted he's one of those students who actually smiles and says hi in the halls. I feel confident he will do well at University of Colorado at Boulder. If I had one piece of advice for Connell, it would be this. If you have roommates, try to find a non-gender specific way to divide up the chores and always label the food in the fridge. Believe me, it's so much easier than arguing about whose hummus that was. Thanks a lot, Connell. Come back and see us.
Yi Shu, Kirby Class of 2015, congratulations on your amazing accomplishment. As your English teacher and the Associate Dean for International Students, I've had great fun getting to know you this year. Thank you for enriching my experience here with your artistic creativity, your inquisitive mind, and your great sense of humor. Your deep appreciation for art and your dedication to your own work are an inspiration. I can see why art resides at the center of your life, how you center on your feelings and emotions and move out from there, and how you imagine the best image to depict them. Ideas are your driving force, the rest follows from there. Staging your own art show earlier this year was a significant milestone that I was happy to be part of, and something that you should be very proud of. Thank you for thinking deeply about the readings in English class, asking probing questions, and challenging your classmates to dig deeper into the text that we studied. Best of luck on the next leg of your journey. Have a wonderful and fulfilling summer with friends and family, and be sure to take full advantage of all that the Massachusetts Institute of Art has to offer you. We'll miss seeing your smiling face around campus, but we hope you'll stay in touch with us virtually, through email, through social media, and through the Kirby Alumni Network. Oh, and did I mention that I'm also the Director of Alumni Relations? You're not off the hook with me yet, Yi. I'll expect great things.
So I just wanted to thank Geneva and Ian and Miss Reed and Miss Hutton for coming up with this idea. We recognized that as you were getting to this point of graduating, that we really had some deep affection for your class, the class of 2015. And it's not for any one particular reason other than the fact that
You guys are really awesome human beings, and it's been a real pleasure these years to get to know you, to see you grow, to see you to this point where you're about to step into another realm. And please come back and visit us. Thank you for your contributions to our school, our community, our culture, and keep on being you. Go class of 2015. Woo woo!